Listening into the at least latter half of that interview was Chlöe Swarbrick, the Greens Party Co-Leader, and joins us now from Wellington. Chlöe, good morning.
Morena.
Do you know who attacked Winston's house?
No, I don't, Ryan, and I just want to, straight off the bat, explicitly condemn this violence. We have always explicitly condemned attacks on people's homes, and we always have. This crosses a threshold and goes well beyond people's right to protest. So I just want to be abundantly clear that we explicitly condemn that violent attack on Winston Peters' home. We always have condemned attack like this, and we always will.
So why'd you invite that woman who told everyone his address to a press conference yesterday to speak and stand next to you?
I was not responsible for inviting her to the press conference.
Did you know she was going to be there?
The community had organised who was going to be there. I had been involved in the formative planning with regard to ensuring that we had all of the representatives.
Do you know her? Is she a mate?
No, Ryan, I think that here we're kind of losing sight of the bigger picture.
Is she a mate or not? I'm just trying to figure out how close you guys are. This is a chick who went out there and told the world the address of our Foreign Minister at a time like this, and you're standing next to her at a press conference. It's a fair question.
Ryan, we are not close. I know a number of people who are involved in a number of protests. I had not been aware of that behaviour at that point in time when it came to, as you are now putting to me, sending out the address or otherwise. But again, if we can come back to the point here.
So when did you hear about the address going out there publicly?
I heard that when questions were put to me by the media later in the afternoon, subsequent to the press conference. So if we can come back to the core point,
yesterday afternoon.
Because yes, the core point here, Ryan, is not one activist. It is not the understandable feelings.
Well, the core point is how, is what Winston Peters says. You are inciting violence, Chlöe. When you say from the river to the sea, and you lead these protests, and you whip up everybody on social media, and you get the mob going, someone ends up with a crowbar through Winston Peters' front window. Does he have a point?
I completely and utterly reject that characterisation, Ryan. And I think if we can just come back down to planet Earth on this, if we can and we should condemn the extreme violence that we saw with the massacre of innocent people on October 7th, 2 years ago today, and the 250 hostages that were taken then we should simultaneously, we can and should condemn the violence that saw 750,000 Palestinians removed from their homes.
Totally agree, but there's a way to go about it, isn't there? There's a way to go about it, Chlöe. There's a way to bring the temperature down as a responsible political leader. What Winston Peters is saying is that you haven't done that. You haven't met that bar, that test.
What I'm saying here, Ryan, is that we can and people are increasingly and understandably incredibly frustrated at this government's lack of action. New Zealanders are gathering in their thousands every single weekend because they do not know what to do about this issue. And rightfully, the responsibility does lay with those three men in charge of the political parties who are currently in charge of this country. I just want to be crystal clear again. We explicitly condemn any violence on people's homes. We always have, and we always will.
Do you regret,
that crosses a threshold.
Do you regret any of your behaviour throughout this at all? Any of the words you've used, any of the cowards or them, and we must go after them, we must get them to do this, them to do that.
Ryan, I've never said we must go after them. You're putting words in my mouth there, and I just really like, Ryan, if we can just take a second, I would really like you to reflect on the double standards that you hold for myself and the way that I comport myself versus some of the statements that you heard from Minister Winston Peters.
I deal with Winston Peters and his comments when he says them at the time that they happen. Can we deal with the double standard that's coming from your corner of the court this morning? You're the one who is constantly saying about the real world damage that words can do and the effect that words can have on society. And here you are saying from the river to the sea, saying that these are cowards who are leading the government. And then we have real world violence and you're nowhere to be seen.
Ryan, I'm on your show right now responding directly to questions. I was asked to be on the show late last night and I immediately made myself available. Same goes for Mike Hosking, same goes for every talkback radio show that will currently be discussing this, above and beyond the genocide that is currently unfolding in Gaza. So again, if we can just come back to the basic facts, if you want to talk about from the river to the sea and what that means, that is a statement for the freedom of Palestinians. That is not to be confused with violence, the likes of which you can see implicit in the likes of the Likud Charter from the party that is currently governing Israel, which talks about from the river to the sea, there will only be Israeli sovereignty. That is about displacing people. That is about effectively, obviously, as we're seeing in practice, facilitating this genocide that is currently unfolding in Gaza. So if we can just come back down to earth and talk about the reality of what is unfolding right now. Yesterday, we held a press conference with 3 family members of New Zealanders who have been illegally kidnapped by the state of Israel and are being detained. They were trying to deliver food aid to Gaza, which is currently under a legal blockade and has been since 2007. The people of Gaza have not been able to receive imports by land, by air, or by sea since 2007. That is an illegal blockade. What these New Zealanders were doing as part of the Smud flotilla, trying to deliver food aid, trying to represent our humanity, was entirely legal. So if we want to talk about the behaviour that we should here be supporting and the behaviour here that we should be condemning, and we are asking for this government at a really basic level to condemn the genocide and to sanction Israel for its war crimes.
All right, Chloe, I really appreciate you coming on and chatting with me this morning. As always, Chloe Swarbrick, who is the Green.
I'll always make myself available, Ryan, you know that.
I appreciate it too, I really do.